I'm clapping you back in appreciation. I love you all. Right, welcome back. I am Stanford Chidge, and you are watching or even listening to the Chelsea FanCast. And we're about to talk about the Swindon game in the Capital One Cup last Wednesday, where, strangely, both teams were sponsored by Samsung. I'm not.
I think they've got a team they thought would actually come up into the Premier League, and then it hasn't. So
I thought they were being a bit presumptuous, frankly. It's our sponsor, Samsung.
Wickham are as well.
Are they?
Yeah,
Three.
And then there's another league club as well, but you can only presume that they're not getting paid.
I think Samsung are getting about a bit too much for my liking.
What about Fly
There's
Emirates?
a word for that,
Fly
but it's
Emirates.
probably on that list, isn't it, Jonathan?
Yeah.
Anyway, the other thing that I thought was interesting about the Swindon game was that Jose put out what was effectively a B team last week. But apparently that B team was worth 137 million quid, which I suppose shows just how strong we are at the moment. I mean, there in fact is the team, Darren. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I mean...
Schwarzer, he must have been worth about 100 of that.
Well, exactly. I was going to say, because you've got Schwarzer and Bertrand, who obviously didn't cost anything. So
yeah, I know.
It's quite... so 9 players between them cost...
Torres, he makes most of it up, doesn't he?
40% of it.
Willian was 30, so that's 80 million.
Essien was 25, I think.
Louis was
But anyway, nevertheless, that aside, wasn't it interesting to see Van Ginkel play and Essien for the first time for a long time?
Essien was excellent.
And we got Willian back, and we had De Bruyne making an appearance. Essien was captain.
As well.
Essien was captain, which I thought was excellent.
Do you know, actually, I didn't realise Essien was captain.
Yeah, he was.
He was. Little yellow
I wasn't
band.
doubting, Chidge. I'm
nice
glad you backed him up. I wasn't doubting.
It's nice to see we have a goalkeeper, finally, who is a top goalkeeper.
Yeah. No more hilarious.
No more mad Turnbull
What's
moments.
his name? I forgot his name already. Ross Turnbull's won the European Cup. That is, in fact, officially his name now. Yeah. He's at Doncaster now, isn't he?
Is he doing well?
Letting goals in for Doncaster now.
Sullivan went to Doncaster.
Yeah, that's where we send our goalkeepers.
Where they go off to.
He kept a clean sheet on the weekends.
Did he?
Did
he? Now, listen, just a few bit of match stataroonies here. Apparently, we won by 2-0. That's I always like a bit of that. But anyway, the first stat is we did that. We battered them, basically, as we would have expected us to. I mean, they're only a League 2 team, I think, aren't they? Anyway, loads and loads of shots. 9 on target, 7 off target for us, 3 and 3 for them. They had more corners than us. I mean, they actually had a lot more... they had much more of the game than I kind of expected them to be honest. I mean, possession, I think, is always a very misleading stat in a way, because it kind of depends what you do with it, but...
I felt we strolled about
idiots,
a bit.
Were they?
But I did feel we weren't actually at 100%. There was a lot.
We were coasting.
Yeah, a lot of coasting going on.
They wrapped it up and they stopped basically.
I always think that's a very Jose thing to do, though, isn't it? Is to get a goal or two ahead, and if he feels pretty confident that we're not going to lose, it just shut up shop.
I wonder if he gives them that order or not, or whether it just happens. Whether that's his.
There's a book by our favourite guy, Patrick Barkley. I think it's him anyway, Anatomy of a Winner, and he says about that. Mourinho has always sort of done that when it is like 2-0, just sort of calm the tempo down. Play on the left hand side, keep people on the right, left, vice versa, bring it to the back. He just wants to shut up shop at 2-0.
But equally, there are a lot of players in that team that you would have thought would be wanting to bust a gut to prove a point, because that's pretty much their only opportunity.
Did he do that when Duff and Robin were there? There was this misleading thing about Chelsea being a dull side.
No, I think it comes from this, actually, Jonathan, because I mean, Jose was a past master, as I said. One of the things that we used to talk about when he wasn't there, and we were letting goals in, was that oh God, remember the old days when we had Jose and we'd be 1-0 or 2-0 up, and you just knew you weren't going to lose because he was so good at just shutting up shop.
And also defensively, we were so excellent.
Yeah, I mean there was that too. First thing I really want to talk about though is very, very sad. I liked the look of Van Ginkel, I have to say. And I think he was definitely one for the future. But I mean, he got the replay on the telly was horrible, and he's done his ACL. He's now been operated on, and he's out for 6 months. And I, for one, am genuinely gutted for the lad. But
I was there. I didn't see the telly bit.
The telly was nasty. It just went.
Did it? Oh.
It was one of those where it goes from the side. It was nasty.
But like when Lucas Leiva did it against us a couple of years ago.
Although that wasn't obviously gutting in any way, shape, or form.
No, but then it's more the fact that they got up and carried on playing for a few minutes, and then I think Joe Cole did the same as well, didn't he?
They did actually. They did though. They did make him go on playing for a bit, which I was very surprised at.
I would say. I mean, Cruciates aren't what they were. He's very young. I think.
No, Cruciates aren't what they were. In my day, Ross. You have to bend them double to snap them.
I haven't got a Cruciate.
I'm as bad as
I managed to walk around.
Who's worse between me and him?
In what way? What are we talking about? Injuries?
Injuries,
beards, hair. What are we talking about?
Anyway. If I was to say to you that I might fancy a week off sometime soon, I get Jonathan presented, what would you say?
I'd say, where are you going?
Fully. Right, now, you be quiet. What are you trying to say?
I think he'll be fine.
Is that it?
Yeah, it didn't look that bad. I don't think he did more than just the anterior cruciate. Obviously, I have no real knowledge, but honestly, I think
they're not career-ending like they used to be.
It used to be about 12 months to come back from it. It's now about 6-7 months, depending upon the severity. And he's a fit player, so I think he'll be fine.
Have you seen? Cobham have got this thing. I saw when Joe Cole was there. The swimming pool they've got, it's got like the level, basically
tank,
the floor, can raise.
I've been there. Yeah, it's fantastic.
Have you seen it?
Yeah.
So
I jumped in while I was on the fans forum tour. They didn't mind. I needed a wash.
It gives like pressure, obviously, so it helps build up, putting the weight on the knees and everything. It's incredible the equipment they now have.
I tell you what worries me. Jonathan, is that there's a. I know that just woke you up, didn't it? What worries me is that there might be a bit of the Romeu about him. That he looked really good and then he got injured and he came back and he hasn't been quite the same. And then he's got injured again. And I just really hope that we don't see the same with Van Ginkel. What I would like to say to wrap the Van Ginkel thing up is that I really hope he has a very speedy recovery.
I hope so as well, but I have to say I'm not as impressed with him as you are. I didn't think he was playing very well, particularly in that Swansea game.
If I had a yellow card, I would be waving in your face right now.
Yeah, I understand. But that's
Would
my
you
opinion.
scratch him?
I'm allowed an opinion.
Can I reach?
I would. I've got nails, unlike Torres.
I haven't cut mine tonight.
Haven't you?
No,
That's
I could do some damage, son.
Yeah, okay.
You haven't cut them.
Cut ya.
You haven't cut them tonight. Do you cut them most nights?
No, I'm going to cut them tomorrow.
A little bit of enamel.
They don't grow that quickly. What do you think I am? Rasputin
I cut mine
or something?
tonight. Is it
Tangerine enamel.
Tangerine enamel.
Yeah,
maybe I should do that. Or just do the little pinky
finger.
black,
Yeah.
Alistair Crowley style.
Yeah, waggle it a lot.
Oh, Jonathan, you're so distracting for me. You make me go off on these
in a nice way.
Oh, in a lovely, beautiful way,
good.
But not in a way that will actually get us on time for this show.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, all right. Get there. I won't say another word.
We wish Van Ginkel all the love in the world.
Yes.
Now, what I would say about the Van Ginkel thing, though, Ross, I think I'd talk to you for this one.
Yes, you did.
I'm very surprised that Lewis Baker didn't get on. I thought, that would have been the brave thing to do. I mean, why put him on the bench? Lose a defense, lose a midfielder and not put Lewis Baker on.
The game wasn't shut up.
It was
we
against
hadn't
Swindon.
shut up shop completely. No, I know, but Lewis Baker tends to play more of a number 10 role for the youth team.
Fair enough.
And they were threatening a little bit because we weren't actually really on top of it.
And the mighty Robbins, mate.
And we had to make 2 defensive substitutions before the start of the second half.
Had it not been for the injuries, I think
substitutions in midfield even.
And of course, Louise ended up playing in defensive midfield. I mean, how do you think he did? Because I mean, the thing that interests me about that is that Jose's kind of publicly said a few weeks ago that he doesn't see him playing there, and then in extremis, it has to be said, he ends up playing. Well, how do you think he did there?
Yeah, no disrespect to Swindon, but it's a bit hard to judge.
It is a bit, isn't it?
Thought he did all right there.
Yeah, he's all right. I mean, what do you reckon?
All right?
Yeah, he was all right.
I thought he was poor.
Okay.
Did you actually?
Yeah, seriously. I thought because he played an enormous number of long balls to nobody. They all did. They weren't really on it. I just felt
they were just.
It was
jogging
a
along.
it was a disappointing performance.
Louise always does he did like a couple of odd ones against Everton when it was just like one of them especially just. He ran out from just the edge of our own box, ran to the halfway line, and then just whacked it off for a goal kick. Yeah, I think he's trying to pick out Hazard, but he does like to overhit a long ball.
But they played that a lot against Spurs. This long diagonal, which in the second half they stopped playing completely.
It's interesting what Darren says about it's hard to judge against Swindon because I actually thought that out of all of them, Torres probably had the best game. He looked. I mean, what I liked about that goal was it was like for me a proper striker's goal. He happened to be in the right place at the right time on 6 yards out, kind of hit his shin and went in. I love goals like that. That's what a striker should do.
The whole team went up a notch for that moment. It was just lovely. Both goals were just excellent.
That Ramirez goal was I thought
He
superb.
was just so quick as well.
He had a good game till he got injured and went off sadly. But what about Willian? Willian, he was really nothing. I think again. I mean, have we bought a dud here, Darren?
You cannot say that, Chid.
I just have.
Well, it's out of order because he only played a few games. You can't judge him yet.
Sorry, you can slap me. They'll only hear this. They can't see me slapping you.
Should I just pretend?
I
can't do it after you did it.
They're watching a still. Oh no, you've ruined it. I was about to go like sound like we're having a scrap on TV or something.
Yeah, but now it's got that picture, we can do it. And
No, we're back on, mate. See.
Okay, we can't do it now.
There we go. I'm sorry, I've just completely norsed up the mystique of television.
I don't think
that's actually a double. That's not really Darren Mantle.
This is why we're running out of time. Right, so William, the thing is, Chidge, you can't say it.
It's actually Chidge.
Next time there's a picture on, Come on, get him.
Can we have a still up so I can slap Darren? Thank you. Okay, we can go back now.
Even hurt, mate. So, I think William, you can't judge him yet because he's only had a couple of games. He needs to get into it still. It is unfair to say anything yet. He's finding his feet. He's in a new league. I think it's too early to say. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And I've
it's
said
not that I'm bothered
well.
what you're saying, but I just feel like sticking a pen in my ear, Darren.
I don't think you can do that anymore at this level.
Well, stick a pen in my ear. I can actually make it go all the way
Does it come out the other
It
side?
does.
Yes. No, I don't think you can do that.
Why not?
I don't think because I think you need to come in and your feet running. It needs to be.
Yeah, he played in like.
He was really,
but
really.
that's why they play in these games. These ones that are less important, where you kind of guarantee to win.
But they need to try and play. You need to be better than that.
Oh yeah, of course, but. Like as Darren said, it's far too early for either of them.
Anyway,
settle in, John.
He's played
I
2
want them
games.
to they come in and they're good.
You're a bit
and we win everything. we win every trophy.
It's a bit entitlement, though. I mean, I have to say we should. To be fair, I mean, he's got to get used to playing in England and all of that. And I think we should give the lad a bit of time.
If we rated Jobber
after
2 months, would we have won the Champions League?
No, we rated Lampard after 2 months.
Yeah, and let's face it, Drogba was
keep them coming.
Yeah,
come on, Ross,
I remember some bloke.
Drogba was pretty pants for about a year.
Drogba's very first game. Drogba's very first game at Palace. And a bloke in the front of me said, "He's a donkey, isn't he? He's a donkey. That player, isn't he? Donkey." Then he scored with a header. Well, he's not that much of a donkey.
He's a donkey with a good head.
Yeah, good header.
But he's still a donkey.
He said he's like that Tony Hateley. He said.
Tony Cascarino.
Nobody would remember Tony
Right, enough. I want to move on to this. This is very, very important.
1966.
Jonathan, including you. Now, I had a few people. Pablo was there, weren't you?
Where?
Swindon.
Game, yeah.
Darren, were you there? No. Loza, you were there, weren't you?
Yeah, I was there.
Anybody else on the benches were there? Harry was there?
Yep.
So there's a few of you that were at the Swindon match. I've heard, I mean, an away trip like that, as Loza well remembers, like Leeds last year. I mean, away trips in the Carling One Cup. Capital One Cup, are great. But there was a lot of people on Twitter afterwards, wasn't there, Loza, moaning about the JCLs and the iPad Brigade, and they weren't singing and going for it like you should at an away. I mean, look at that. And by the way, that's a still that was sent in to me by the lovely Risker Blues, for whom I'm very grateful. But that open terrace, lower league ground, full of Chelsea, all one end, that should have been rocking. Pablo and Loza, was it rocking?
Pablo made a good point and said that they didn't have a roof. And I know that might sound a bit silly, but when you think about it, it really makes a difference because the sound just carried.
Like Portsmouth, that was always the case.
It wasn't keeping it in.
Yeah,
it was
that's good fun. But what about the fact that it was full of JCLs and
what's a JCL?
Jonathan come latelys.
Yeah, I've been accused of being one of those.
iPad, what's and the rest of it, Lauren. What do you reckon?
I didn't really see many of them where I was in that stand that you showed the picture of. Everybody was giving it a go. Everybody was trying. Everyone was singing.
It seemed to be very noisy to me.
I'm completely with Lauren on that. I mean, admittedly we were second row, but I didn't see anyone.
But you know what? Isn't this funny? Basically. We'll talk about this probably somewhere else as well, I suspect. But it's always the way, isn't it? Whenever you go to a game, you seem to get this split opinion, and it absolutely depends where you are. If you're sitting with a load of people at scene, you go, "Oh, that was great fun. That was a great." If you're sitting with a bunch of Burks, you think, "God, I hate football. I'm never going to watch Chelsea away again. It's all full of idiots." It just depends where you are, doesn't it?
The overall sound wasn't great because of the roof and because nothing was kind of carrying and reverberating around across everyone. But in terms of pockets of people singing their heart out,
I thought it was really noisy. Yeah,
but Chidge, the way it used to be was everyone was singing. All
well, there is that.
Other than me,
there is that. Apart from Jonathan, never sings.
Yeah, I'm constantly accused of not being a proper Chelsea fan. In all seriousness, I am. I don't like singing.
He doesn't like singing.
Which is strange for
Greg now owes me a pint, by the way, because I promised him that you would tell that story.
And why did you then? Why did you vote for chanting the match? Why didn't you abstain?
No,
oh, calm down.
God, that was said aggressively.
Because you told me.
Yeah,
you have to move.
Yeah, you were said as if I'm a hypocrite.
Order. We have to move on.
Should we go outside and settle this?
Actually, if you did, the show would.
No, well, let's wait for a still, and then we'll have a scrap, and then we'll come back. Okay.
Can we have another? No, don't.
No.
We'll have one in a minute.
No, I can appreciate them around me. I can
appreciate.
appreciate.
You didn't like me voting for John Terry because you said it's a new song. We should.
I liked it. I don't need to sing it.
Enough of your silliness. I just wanted to make a point about this, which was as one of the JCL iPhone plastic armchair supporters, which is what I am.
Yeah.
I was at home watching it on the TV,
and you weren't singing.
I was singing at home.
Oh,
I do,
wow. Good
because
for
I
you.
do. But anyway, the bottom line is I wasn't really, Jonathan.
Oh, okay. I didn't
But
think you were.
the point is that actually it sounded like you were really, really loud. And the reason I say that is because every time Chelsea supporters started to sing, they were like immediately very loud, and then clearly the TV people turned the mics down because they knew you were about to say one of the words on this.
No,
list,
and also
I
they were
suspect.
singing. Well, I thought they were singing much louder than the Swindon fans.
Yeah, they
and
were.
It doesn't work out to make very
They
good telly.
do turn the mics down, though. I've been
They
saying
do
this for
deliberately,
years.
yeah.
Now, listen, if we can't get up for the next Capital One Cup leg, I don't know when we ever will, because we're Arsenal away. We should get 9,000 tickets for that, and they'll be cheap, won't they, Darren, you reckon?
I think they're a tenner.
It's
which is
the,
brilliant.
The home stand is £10 lower tier, £20 upper tier, but so that should go.
You
along.
got-
It depends if the police put a restriction
Yeah.
on.
You got to say that is the beauty of the Capital One Cup: cheap tickets, proper support, and aways. Because I do think that actually the cheaper tickets, both home and away, tracks in a lot of supporters you can't usually afford to go. I think a lot of the, shall we say, the newer support can't be bothered with the Capital One Cup. I'm there for the Premier League because that's what I'm told on the television. It's very nice
Do
to
they
watch.
all speak
The
like
EPL?
that, Chidge?
Whatever. Yes, I like to see the EPL matches. I don't like these League Cup things. So you actually get some more proper support in there, in my view. And I think that's great. I love this cup. I love it.
Do you think both managers will put out their reserve sides?
Well,
was
Jose's
wondering
threatened
that.
not to, hasn't he?
I think Mourinho will play some first teamers because he always does, and Wenger probably will actually play like a youth team.
We shall see. But he actually put a bit of a balance out, to be fair, Wenger, in the last round.
I didn't see.
It wasn't completely
I
stupid.
don't think it will be a repeat of the 5-0 in the late 90s.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4,
5-0.
5-0. Now, on that lovely point, I have to read out a message. I have to read a message from the Capital One people who are doing a competition.
Do it in that voice,
they ask,
Chidge.
Capital One, sponsor
like
of the Capital One Cup, will be featuring messages of support from fans to their clubs in their advertising around round 4 of the Cup as part of their drive to support the supporters. No, I can't do that anymore.
you couldn't keep it going.
The chosen messages will be featured across... Well, you could do it. You're a voiceover artist. Anyway, the chosen messages will be featured across a range of local advertising spaces, including billboards, local newspapers, and even on the side of the Clapham Omnibus and phone boxes. It's all great stuff. Now, these messages will be inserted into Capital One's adverts to be in with a chance to be featured. Send in your message of support. Contact, email address, and first name and initial to competitions@footballfancast.com by 5 p.m. tomorrow, Tuesday the 1st of October. The more messages you submit, the more chance you have of being selected, so get writing.
What we're after is a short message, approximately 5 to 10 words, that wish your team good luck in some way. The more individual, engaging and locally relevant the message, the better. And Capital One will pick the messages they deem most appropriate and feature them in their ads.
I think you were doing that in the style of Chidge.
I was copying you.
That's known as taking the mick.
Yeah.
I know. You could have done it in a proper talk sport
Is
style.
that Mick Chidge? Wait, my talk sport reader, it's very much like that. That's what they like there in talk sport.
Do it and do.
Yeah, that's what they do.
Do
there.
the last bit in the style of talk sport.
Talk sport, yeah. What we're after, short messages, approximately 5 to 10 words, wish your team good luck in some way. The more individual, engaging and locally relevant the message, the better. Capital One will pick the messages they deem most appropriate and feature them in their ads.
That's good.
That was quality, wasn't it? But in all seriousness, do send them in. Short messages. I sent one in today, which very simply said, because I'm not very bright, win or lose, up the Blues. Because I didn't think they'd like the other one that I do, which is win or... What was it?
Win or lose on the booze.
That's right. Win or lose, we're on the booze. Thank you, Lauren.
We like to
Win
say
or
the
lose,
word
we're on the
booze.
booze. I've drunk so much that I can't remember them. Anyway, enough of that. After the break, it will be time for the lovely, wonderful Lauren's Loan Report. I'm so excited.